my goodness.
Awesome. Definitely. Yummy. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. We just started streaming into Team Hope, but we're all, as soon as we get this started, we're record this. Hopefully it's going to be a good recording.
Okay,
And
well, yes, I hear that.
Hi, Jay. Yeah. So once we start recording right before, Daryl is in Colorado. I'm in Nebraska right now and do not have good cell coverage. I'm on a farm in Nebraska. And so Daryl, amazing. He's going to record this for us. And then hopefully we'll have a clean copy and I'll get that put up on YouTube. Probably not until Monday. I'll see if I can get to a Wi-Fi spot. There's no Wi-Fi here on the farm. So I know modern technology, you would think everywhere, right? But no. So let's see, maybe I can go over to your house, Sherry, and see if I can load it up. Let's see. So I'm up in Nebraska building duck blinds this weekend. We are, let's see, what time are we? 58. Let's see. Anybody seeing Tyler on here yet? Not yet. Okay. He already wrote to me this morning. He's like, got it. He'll be on here. So hi, Ashley. Ashley, where are you coming from? Steve. Oh, Steve, where are you coming from? You're home? Where are you at?
I'm in Utah.
Utah. Awesome.
South Carolina.
South Carolina.
I'm in North Carolina.
North Carolina. We got North Carolina. We got South Carolina. We got Wyoming. We have lots of Colorados. We got a lot of Wyomings. Where else is people coming from?
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Minneapolis. Awesome. There's some Canada.
Tyler has joined.
Awesome. Tyler, good morning.
How are you doing?
Fabulous. Fabulous. Up in Nebraska. Took a little break from building duck blinds.
Well, I'm doing honeydews and I am doing falls. So I'm going to find an exit here in just a second and pull over. But multitasking, that's what we're going to call it today.
That's right. Well, Daryl is, because there's no Wi-Fi here at the farm. So Daryl is hosting the call. So he's going to start recording and I'll pick us off here and then we'll get going. So, okay, Daryl, let me know. And Daryl's gonna.
It's going.
Okay, and can you mute everyone just so we can try to get a clean copy of this? So
everybody is muted except for you and Tyler.
You're amazing, Daryl. Thank you. Thank you. So good afternoon. It just turned afternoon. It is October 21st, 2023. My name is Jennifer Bishop, and I cannot wait for us to learn from the presidential master pro 10, all those amazing titles, Tyler Daniels. Tyler, you have been one of my biggest mentors, not only in LifeVantage, but life, your consistency, your tenacity, your grit, service. Thank you for your service in the military, your and Tasha's and your son. And I'm so honored and blessed to be a part of LifeVantage and to be on your team. I really am. So a couple things. So if you guys don't know, if you don't know, the company has has all put us on this fast track reset. And if you don't know about that, you can go into your replicated website, and right now for the next 90 days, well, starting from October 1st through December 31st, the company is gifting us double fast track bonus. So what that means is if you get 3 consultants, that are at 150 SV, the company is going to give you an extra $100. I don't know about you guys, but I could use an extra $100. I would appreciate it. And if you enroll 3 new customers at 100 SV a piece, the company is going to give you an extra $50. So I want you to think about these numbers, and I hope it excites you like it excites me. The company didn't have to do this. It was a total reset for the whole company. But not alone, like, to be excited for us, but be excited for that new person that you're talking to. An extra on top of what the bonuses are, an extra $100 that could help with gas money, food, that could help a brand new person. And one of my besties in the business, Melissa Brown, we were talking about this, and she was like, Jennifer, somebody could go on Facebook Marketplace and they could sell like those extra jeans that they're not wearing, or maybe some household items, go through some household items, put them up on Facebook Marketplace. And this is the perfect time to get started in the business. There has never, ever been a better time. So I asked Tyler if he'd come on here, one, like, why LifeVantage, why now? And then to help us overcome objections. So I asked our team, what are some, main objections that you're getting? And let's get the master here to help us, right? So the 4 types of objections, Tyler, that we're seeing is, 1, talking to new prospects. When you're talking to a new person, like objections of cost too much, or why doesn't anybody know, if this is so popular, why isn't it, why doesn't everybody know about it? Can I use it for a disease or specific disease or illness? One common one. Another one is, are there contraindications to drugs and all those things? Another type is a question is consultants that got started before, and how do we get them re-engaged? And then current customers that say, I don't feel anything, what do I do? And then for those brand new consultants that are afraid because they have a reputation and they're afraid that they're going to, people are going to think that they're a salesperson. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to go on mute and let you talk, and thank you for your time.
Well, that sounds great. So I was able to find an exit. I was able to pull over. So I don't have to dodge traffic while I'm answering questions. But I really appreciate you guys having me jump on these calls. I've had the opportunity over the last, say, 18 months or so to run around the world for this company and answer a lot of these kind of questions. So I've been in Australia, New Zealand, Thailand. I'm going to be in Canada for the whole first week in November as we launch the new Evolve program next year for them, because those of you that are really familiar with some of the things that we've done recently, that in the United States, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, we had the Evolve plan launched, but the rest of the world needs to have it launched into their markets. And so I'm going to continue doing those things. So anytime I get an opportunity to jump on these calls and try to answer these questions, they're very, very familiar, by the way. I mean, it's not specific to really just you. I mean, these questions are very, very common everywhere I go. They seem to be a kind of a pretty common thread. So I'm excited to do that. One thing I am going to do, though, is you read all of them off to me, and I don't want to miss any of them. So I think if Daryl's taking charge of this, let me answer these questions one at a time, but I'm going to have him start with one. I'll answer it and then ask me the next one so that I don't leave any of them out. Is that all right, Daryl, since you're in charge of this call?
Yeah, actually, Jennifer has the list of objections. I'm only the IT support.
Oh, all right. Well, then let me do this. The first thing I remember you saying is, why LifeVantage? Why now? Let me answer that one, and then I will go into the first question that I think is that is connected to that, which is, why is this product being sold the way that it is? If it's so important, why aren't we selling it through other distribution models? And then I'll let you ask me those other questions. Does that work? Okay. So many of you guys know that have been around this industry for a little while, that companies will go through transitions. If you study this industry at all, you start to recognize that there's typically 4 different categories that a company would fall into in their life cycle. The first one being kind of that startup phase where companies are excited about a product, or, or maybe they've decided they want to get into this industry. And so they're launching a brand new company. In that startup phase, you're going to hear a lot of things like, you get to be first, be at the very top. We're excited about a current plan. We hope to do this, or we hope to do that. It's part of what that startup phase, I call it the chaos phase. If you want to know what I call it privately, I call it chaos, because there's a lot of let's try it and see. There's a lot of, throw mud on the wall. There's a lot of, I hope this will work in that first startup phase. When a company, though, has any success through that phase, and some do, not all of them, the vast majority of them never make it through this phase. But when the companies make it through this phase, they have an opportunity to take a outside look, or take a real deep dive into what the company's done. They have to answer some questions like this. Are we committed to the messaging that we have? Now, here in LifeVantage, we're very, very committed to the activation message. So in a real layman's term, or layman's way of explaining this, I would say activation to us means activating your body's natural systems to work like they did when you were young. And it doesn't just mean with Nerve 2. It's also part of our collagen product. It's also part of our brand new True Renew product. So the question that companies ask is, are we committed to that message? Now, one of the ways that I know whether a company is committed to that message or not is by asking, how much money do you spend on research and development? I mean, are you spending the kind of money on research and development to make sure that the products that your consultants are talking about are relevant? Are they ahead of the conversation? Are they, like disruptive in some way for the categories that we're trying to get our products into, right? That's how I know. So the answer to that question is we spent $2.3 million last year alone just on research and development. And we know this because the company is publicly held, and they report on this every 90 days. And so every quarter we go out and tell you how much revenue the company did, how much profit the company had, how much we spend on commissions, how much we spend on research and development, how much did we pay our corporate staff. I mean, we tell you all of this stuff every 90 days, and that kind of matters to me. So if a company gets through that chaos phase and they're willing to go out and ask questions like, are we committed to this message? And then take a deep dive into a more difficult question, which is, are we compensating our consultants properly? I mean, are we being competitive with what's happening in society today? So are we competitively paying them to go out and tell the story? Are you competitively paying people to go out and be excited about a Protan or a collagen or the True Renew or any of the other, products that our company has? Are you competitively compensating them to make that sacrifice? If a company will do those two things and really double down on their messaging, which I love about our company and activation, and then figure out how to compensate people properly, you have an opportunity to go through that second phase, which is the organized growth phase, is what I call it. It's the part where the company is making decisions based on data. It's based on not just a hope and hope, hit and hope. It's not based on let's just try it and see. What happens is they're taking a look at the actual data. How many consultants are we retaining? How many are we losing? How many customers do we retain? How many customers do we lose? Is there a way for us to better educate our consultant or the voice of the company? Is there a better way to educate them so that we can, help those customers understand maybe why they're not feeling something when they use Protan, which I'm going to answer that question here in just a second. Okay. Are you doing the things necessary to empower your sales force so that they can be more effective in gathering and then retaining both those consultants and customers? Okay. So why LifeVantage? Why now? Because we've left the chaos phase. That's why. Because this company 3 years ago decided to ask outside experts to bring in some consultants and really do a deep dive into our company and ask the hard questions. Are you guys relevant? Are you staying relevant? Are you continuing to give your consultants the best possible chance to bring a customer to this company or bring a consultant in? And so we did that. We did that 3 years ago. The fruits of that effort, the fruits of planting those seeds or doing that are showing up today. How do I know this? Again, because our company is a publicly held company. We can look at the last quarterly reports, and we can look back in history and compare those time frames each year to the previous year. We've had 5 straight quarters year over year of growth. And so what that would lead me to believe is that the decision that Steve Fife and his corporate team made to actually bring experts in and ask those hard questions and then do something about it, that the fruits of those labors are starting to bear fruit. So it's a really exciting time here in LifeVantage right now. You know, why LifeVantage? Why now? Well, if you don't want to work in an environment of chaos, if you want to work in an environment where the path is very, very clear, now is the time. You know, I would be very grateful to a lot of the leadership that built this company through that chaos. I mean, that's, you know, I'm really glad that the leadership in this company did that. And you know, a lot of the leaders are on this call. When you have Jennifer doing what, I mean, she was experiencing a lot of that throughout the last 10 years. She got to be part of the hit and hope, the let's try it and see, you know, period in this company. But now we're very, very clear pathway, very, very organized. And I think this company is going to go through a really significant growth phase where we may not even recognize what this company is today in 3 or 4 years from now, because it's going to be so much bigger. There's going to be so much more leadership, and it's just going to continue to get more and more clear. The behaviors that you have to follow and the messaging that you have to give is just going to become more and more clear. Okay, so that's why LifeVantage and why now is we're a publicly held company that will prove everything I'm saying. If you've ever wanted to be in a company that is entering a growth phase, then you need to take a really serious look at what LifeVantage is doing. We're doing a lot of things right now. Okay. All right. Let me answer the question now of the people who are saying, maybe I don't feel anything on the Protandim. Okay. That has been a very common thing throughout the entire process. It's never going to go away, by the way, because Protandim is one of those things that is a preventative maintenance type situation. It's kind of like, and I put everything into business terms for me. So if that bothers some of you that I'm not going super biological on this or jumping into the science, I just won't do that, because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a biologist. I am a business person. So I put everything into kind of a business perspective. When I hear someone say, you know, I don't feel anything, so I'm going to stop taking this product, it's kind of like when I hear someone say, yeah, I'm not going to invest right now because I'm not a millionaire next month. It's the same thing. It's to me, it's like, you don't understand what Protandim is. It is not a supplement. Protandim is not a supplement. You are not trying to give your body something that it's missing. That's not what Protandim does. And if you're educating people that this is a supplement, then I personally think that you're doing that wrong. You've got to help people understand that this is a preventative maintenance thing. This is something that is a activation, not a supplementation. And so your body already knows how to make itself work properly, but what we're all genetically programmed for those systems to slow down and turn off eventually. And that's really why we die in the end, is our body has slowed down and turned off those systems that allow it to restore itself back to the original, you know, when you're the most healthy. And if you're not explaining to people that is what Protandim does, then in their minds, they think it's a supplementation. So when you supplement, you're supposed to feel something. We're not doing that. We are activating your body's ability to repair the damage that you create day in and day out. We're telling your body to behave like it did when you were young. And the consequences of doing that over time is why it's so important to help people understand what the National Institutes of Aging have said. If you will use this product throughout your life, they're telling you that you will live longer, that the chances are you will be able to fight a lot of those age-related diseases better because of this product. Okay, so you may or may not, if you're healthy, you may or may not feel something. But with that being said, I'm not only interested in telling people who are sick. I mean, why do I have to be sick before I get introduced to this product? Why can't I be introduced to this product before I get sick in an attempt to maybe not get sick? I mean, that's how my brain works. And so I speak to my people in a very, very simple way, just like that. You know, it's very similar to investing. I have to invest now because long term, it will give me the benefit that I'm looking for. I'm not going to invest my $200 a month like my financial advisors told me when I first started out and be a millionaire when I'm 22. I have to invest $20 or $200 a month my entire life so that I can supplement whatever, you know, other retirement money I have, whether it's a pension or Social Security or whatever it is that I've done when I get into my golden years. It's all about preparing now for what's going to happen in the future. And if you haven't done a good job of explaining that to people, then you've got to go back in and help them understand. Now, that leads me to something before I jump into the next question that I want to say. I don't believe that you can be the most effective by being the information yourself. Now, let me explain what I mean. I don't think you can be the most effective if you've memorized it. I don't think that's your job. I think your job is to take them to the information, not be the information. You need to know where the information's at. How do I find the information on PubMed or Google Scholar? How do I find that? So that I can let the experts take the role that they have. Let the experts be the experts. You're going to find out that it's a whole lot easier when you're talking to your consultants if they know they don't have to be the experts because the experts are already weighing in on this. You're going to find out that it's a lot easier to point to it because they now know that's all they have to do. You're going to find out that that's the easiest way to motivate and build your team. Okay. So if you have people saying those things, lead them to the information, help them understand that we are not supplementation, we are activation, and it's 100% preventative. If you care about what you're going to experience when you get older, this is a product you should take a serious look at. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're sick and inflammation or oxidation is part of what's causing you to be sick, you need to go and ask your doctor about this. All right. That's what I've been told. It's what I always tell other people to do. I'm not the doctor, so I'm not going to try to act like one, but I'm going to take them to someone who does understand the information. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So why LifeVantage? Why now? You got that? If someone's jumping off because they don't feel anything, I've never fought it. I embrace it because this is preventative. If you're already healthy, let's just keep you that way. How about that?
Amen. That's awesome. I love that. I often say I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV, and it gets people laughing.
That's right.
That's not me. So thank you, Tyler. I have this all. Yeah, I'm like taking notes. I love that. Take them to the information. Don't be the expert. What about costing too much?
See that? So that is one of my favorite questions to get. Okay. And you guys are gonna I'm gonna have to ask you to give me a little pass on my personality here, because my personality is, I like to joke around just a little bit when I get this question. Okay. Some people misinterpret it and think I'm being mean, or I'm not. I'm just asking questions. You can come up with whatever answer you want. Okay. So my first response to that is a question. Well, how much does the future of your life, how much should it cost? How much should staying healthy cost? Because Protandim is not that much. I think Protandim should be twice as much as it is. It's $60 a month. I mean, how much should your health cost? When someone says that it costs too much, I naturally ask them, do you drive through Starbucks drive-through every day? Because that's probably a $200 or $300 a month cost. And that's just so you can get a little energy or because you like coffee. That's 5 times what the cost of Protandim is. And Protandim is actually activating your body. So how much is too much to make sure that you can stay healthy? That's my first question. How much is too much? Okay. How much money do people spend to look better? How much money do people spend to feel better? I mean, in our country, in our culture, and in fact, it's actually global as I run around, people want to look and feel better. They just do. How much do people pay to reduce the wrinkles and fine lines on their face or around their body? How much do people pay? I don't have hair, but how much do people pay to go get hair? How much do women pay to color their hair? How much do you guys pay to color the gray? How much do you actually pay to look better? Why not look better because it's naturally healthy instead of some extra thing you're doing at the salon? You guys, I really struggle with people who tell me it costs too much, primarily for those reasons. But I then go down this pathway of saying, well, does it cost too much because you don't have any money? I mean, does it? Is it costing too much because you don't make enough money? And I don't say that to be mean. I'm saying it because if that is the case, let me show you how you can show this information to other people who need it for their health and get paid to do it. See, when people ask me what I do, I say I work with a company that has a product that needs a voice. They pay me to give their product a voice. They'll pay you too. That's how I answer. And then they always say, well, what is it? It's too scientifically advanced for me to have this conversation in the grocery store line. So when can I meet with you? When can we get together? Is there a time I can sit down and show you some of the information? Not tell you, show you some of the information, right? Is there a time that I can show you some of that stuff? They pay me to show you, so I'd love to meet with you on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever. That's how I start my conversation with people, okay? And if they say these things cost too much, I say, well, then we need to fix that problem. If these things cost too much, everything else in your life costs too much too, right? I mean, do houses cost too much now? Does interest rates cost too much? Does inflation cost too much? Do cars cost too much? Does bread at the grocery store, do eggs cost too much? What are you doing to overcome everything costing too much? What are you doing? Because I have a solution for you. Let's build this together. In fact, when Steve brought those advisors in, those experts in, when we were looking at our compensation plan, this was the topic that we had to address first. How do we competitively pay our consultants to go out and introduce this company or tell this story, ask other people to help tell the story? How do we competitively pay people to do that? And so that's why we figured out the different tiers of customer gathering, and we we put 30 to 40% of the commissions into just going out and telling the story and gathering customers to benefit from these products, right? Now, how does that impact the person who thinks these cost too much? Well, if you go get one customer a week for a year, you'll have 50 customers. Even if 20 of those customers quit, you're still going to have 30. And if they're using Protandem and they're using collagen, and then soon to be the True Renew, which will be part of that Healthy Glow stack, if they're using that, you're generating about 160 points per subscription, which adds up to over $4,000 in total customer volume that qualifies you for a 30% commission, which is $1,200 a month, right? I'm gonna say that again. One customer a week is 50 a year. Even if 20 of them quit, let's just say it costs too much. I mean, since that seems to be our topic, okay? But the other 30 stay on the product because they like the benefit. They understand the preparing for the future. They understand looking better, feeling better. They understand that, okay? So the 30 of them stay on. The highest rank that we will pay you is called Diamond. You'll have over $4,000 worth of customer volume, making you a Diamond. That pays you 30% or $1,200 a month every single month. And you're not paying $1,200 for your subscription. You're only paying a couple hundred. So that leaves you $1,000 left over to cover the groceries and the gas and the housing costs and the interest costs and the invest into my future and build my 401k or my pension or my IRA or whatever. It gives you an extra $1,000 to cover house repairs, car repairs, the student loan costs that we now have to pay for again, right? It gives you an extra $1,000 a month to cover all those extra things if you'll just understand that we need you to help us tell the story. Okay. So when I get that question, I say, what else costs too much? Can I help you with this? I have a solution for you. Let me show you the solution. Well, I don't really like to do network marketing. You don't have to here. We're going to make you be one. I mean, I don't believe you could do this month after month after month, gathering just customers, which means you're kind of resistant to the networking side. I don't believe you can do it month after month after month. And not one of your customers is going to say, my friends are all asking me what I'm doing and I want to tell them, right? I don't believe you can do this month after month after month and not have a friend say, hey, I want to make some money too. I don't think you could actually get to 1,200 or 1,800 or 2,500, 3,000 a month in customer commissions and not feel obligated to go tell your friends and your family that you're making all that. I just don't think you can do it. I mean, you'd have to be extraordinarily selfish to not tell your brother or sister how you're making 2,500 a month by finding all these people that are benefiting from these incredible products. I mean, you'd have to be extraordinarily selfish to not tell anybody else. You'd have to be one of those people that's like, no, I just really like doing better than all my friends. It's kind of a bragging rights thing for me. I mean, that's who you would have to be. That's not who I am, right? It's not who I am. In fact, what we do is if you're willing to not do that, we'll even pay you more. Your 3,000 can turn into 30,000. So you just, how big of bragging rights do you want to have, I guess? Right. But I'm just saying, you guys, that conversation for me is one of my favorite ones to answer because the answers are obvious. If it costs too much, you don't make enough money. End of story. If it costs too much, you don't care about your future. Ask yourself this: how much are my medical expenses going to cost if I don't do this? If I don't take advantage of this science between now and the end of my life, how much are my hospital bills going to be? Can you afford them? So let's just start answering these questions with the right questions so that people can understand. This doesn't have to cost you anything. You can make enough commissions to offset any of the costs if you'll help us tell the story. The bigger benefit too, just so you guys know, and this doesn't have a dollar amount attached to it, wait till you, because of the conversations you're having, wait till that conversation goes from conversation to conversation to conversation, and it has a almost miraculous benefit to them and whatever problem they're dealing with. Wait till that person comes up to you with tears in their eyes saying, if you hadn't had the courage to go out and start this conversation, I would have never known about this. And my life would not be what it is today. Wait till that happens to you, and then go ahead and tell me that you shouldn't tell other people. Just do that one time and then tell me that you should not have the courage to introduce a product that over 30 of the biggest, most educated, the experts of our society, right? Go tell me that when those people are telling us to take the product, you don't have the courage to start that conversation that will have such an impact in someone else's life, right? And I know I'm getting a little pushy but it's just the truth. Okay. It's just the truth. If you don't want to tell other people about this, I personally think if you know that it exists, you have a responsibility to tell others. And if you don't want to, maybe you should look in the mirror and just ask yourself why. Why do I not want other people to benefit from this incredible information, right?
Wow, I have chills. I can't even tell you how many times what you were saying, I have chills. So thank you. Thank you. And I think honestly, like you covered so many of the product questions with the cost, because you hit so many other things like, and you already hit, if I'm not sick, why doesn't everybody know about this was another one. But I think because I know I value your time, and you told, about 30, 45 minutes max. I would like to, there was people that asked, so we kind of went heavy on the product side. Can you answer like how getting people that were once consultants that maybe aren't as engaged, what you would say or do to help possibly get them re-engaged?
Yes, and this part, if someone's become a consultant before, there's only 2 or 3 reasons really that drive people to take action, right? One is because they understand the health benefit and they want other people to experience that. Number 2 is they have a financial problem or some financial reason, and something that they're looking for a solution in their finances, right? That's number 2. Number 3 is some people, and this is the hard one for me, but it's very, very prevalent. They just want to be around positive people. They just want to be around people who are excited. They want to be around people that are going to kind of put their arm around them and say, hey, you can do this. This is a great thing. Or even just that you're okay. Thanks for being here. There's that reason too. And those tend to be the 3 reasons. I would go back to the people that were part of this program, say 6, 8, 10 years ago, or even just 3 years ago. And I would just say, hey, listen, things have changed and I need you to understand what's going on here. I need to talk to you about what this company is doing, because if your hopes and dreams from back then, if whatever you were praying for back then is something that was not accomplished, if it did not happen for you, let me talk to you about what's happening now, because all those hopes and dreams and prayers may be able to come true for you under the new circumstance. And you just have to have this conversation with them, the one we're having here today. Show them how much easier it is to go out and find those customers and how much the commissions are with that, because it becomes a lot easier pathway for most. I've been doing these calls all morning long, and this is my last one because I got to take Tosh on a little date. I've been doing these calls all morning long. And one of the things that one of the earlier calls led to is we were talking at a really, really high level. I'm going to take you there for just a second so that you can understand why the comp plan is what it is today. If you look at, say, 10 people that join your business, right? 8 or 9 of those 10 people are very, very uncomfortable with going out and asking someone else to join as a consultant. And this isn't because it's not a LifeVantage thing. This is just a industry thing. It's everywhere. 1 or 2 of those 10 will be, will just go out and do it. They don't care. They don't care if they get told no. There's no objections. They're going to just go out and build their team, and that's fine. So the question is this, though. How do you engage the 8 or 9 who are a little hesitant or a little, not quite as confident about the network marketing industry? How do you do that? Well, you do that by empowering them where they're comfortable. So where are they comfortable? They're comfortable using Harvard, Ohio State, American Heart Association. They're comfortable using the science. They're comfortable talking about these products. The whole conversation on this earlier call started because someone said to me or asked me, they said, which way is better, starting with the product conversation or the opportunity conversation? And I said, it no longer matters. That is no longer a discussion. That's not something you don't have to be one or the other anymore. If you're one of the 8 or 9 that are not comfortable with the opportunity, start with the product. If you're one of the 1 or 2 that doesn't have any concerns with the industry, then start with the opportunity. The fact of the matter is, no matter which way you build, you will always end on the opportunity every single time. And it's because of what I said a minute ago. You can't have 200 or 300 customers and not have one of them want to do this with you. You just simply can't do it. You cannot start making $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month selling the product to customers and not feel obligated to tell someone else that they can make money too. You will always end up talking about the opportunity, no matter which way you are most comfortable starting the conversation. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, so you're always going to end there. So I took it to one step further. And this is something I want you guys to think about. Most of you on this call already have a team. You know, they obviously vary in sizes. Some of you might have 5, some might have 10, some might have 50 or even 100 or even 1,000 people on your team right now. So let's use a number. Let's just say that you have 10 people, 10 consultants on your team that are doing a subscription. They're going out and they're finding a consultant or two here or there. But let's say that you were very, very opportunistic minded. You didn't really ever teach anybody to find customers. Let's just say that's who you are. You got 10 people on your team. If they're all doing a subscription for, say, $200, how much volume is your team doing with 10 consultants on it? It's doing about $2,000, right? You got 10 people times 200. That's 2,000 in volume. Now think about this. What if 8 of those 10 people, because they're just so uncomfortable talking about the business, got really comfortable talking about the customer side and they went and got their 1 customer a week this year? What if 8 of them did that? What is 8 times 50 weeks? What is that? It's 400 customers. Your team just went from having 10 subscriptions to 400 subscriptions. Think about that for a second. If 8 of your 10 people just went and got 1 customer a week, you would have 400 subscriptions. So what is 400 times 200? If everyone did $200, it's $80,000 on your team. So if you're sitting here on this call and you're wondering whether or not we took the right turn here on this compensation plan, think about the fact that we're going to pay those people who are uncomfortable with the business side 30% if they'll go find 1 customer a week for a year, and your group will go from $2,000 to $80,000 in volume. What do you think would happen to your check if everybody went and got 1 customer a week and you went from 2,000 to 80,000 in volume? Think about that. Do you think you'd only have 10 consultants? Or do you think you might have 20 or 30 or 50 or 100? What do you think would happen on your second year when they all adopted the same idea of getting 1 customer a week for a year? And you don't start with 10, you start with 30 or 40 the next year. Pretty soon you're doing hundreds of thousands of dollars in volume. You have led your team by moving through all the ranks. You're in the top 5 ranks of the company at this point because you're doing 300,000 or 400,000 in volume. You're now one of the people standing on stage, teaching from stage, telling about your experience. You're part of the growth when the company goes from 200 million to 800 million. You're sharing in what the entire company does now because you're getting a leadership pool bonus. You're getting a bonus based on what I've already done, what all the other leaders have already done. Why? Because you understood that there's a place for everybody in this company now. We're not just a consultant company anymore. We are now we don't care how you start company. We've bridged the conversation. If it takes getting customers to have the confidence to find consultants, we're going to pay you 30% if you'll find 1 customer a week for a year to do that, to gain that confidence. You guys, we figured it out. We figured it out. We have an opportunity now for everyone to start wherever they're comfortable and then grow into that giant team leader, that consultant gathering leader, the consultant training leader. And what are you going to teach your consultants? Go get a customer every week for a year. You're all going to teach the same thing. And that's how you start to have success. That's how you move through the ranks. That's how your teammates start going, hey, my friend, I'll just pick Julie because I can see her on the front of my screen here. My friend Julie went from 2,000 to 80,000 in volume, right? That's what's going to start happening. And the success will breed excitement, and that excitement will breed activity, and that activity will breed more success. That's what it will do. Okay?
Amazing. Thank you. Yes, so simple. I love it. It's just simple. Like it really is. And just, I loved how you said, you have an obligation to share this. And if you don't feel that something has to, not something wrong with you, but it's like, you know my crazy story, and that's what I tell people. I have a moral obligation to share this with you. I'm not connected whether you say yes or no, but oh my gosh, how it's changed my life. So just out of respect for time, I know we're coming up. I don't know if there's any last questions. Yes, I will absolutely, I will share the recording. And you guys, this is like the perfect record for me. This is the perfect recording to give people that are taking a look at this. You don't have to be the message. You're just the messenger. Is there any last things? I mean, Tyler, I'm thinking you covered everything, all of the questions that I had written.
I want to cover one last
Okay.
thing, and then I just got a text from Tasha saying, "Where are you?" So I'm
Yeah.
going to say this, then I'm going to jump off. Okay.
Okay.
There is a seasonality to this business. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is there's times throughout the year that are the most effective for you to build your business, and then there's times throughout the year where it's very difficult, but it's the most important to actually put in the activity, put in the behaviors. Okay. So let me walk you through them and why right now is such an important time for you. A lot of people ask Marcel and I, what did we do to have such a large organization? How did we end up with a $10 million a month organization? One of the things that we did is we worked when no one else does. So we started to figure out that there's the January, February, March, April, and May months, there's way less distractions. Okay. That's usually when everyone else will work because they don't have holidays, they don't have summer vacations, kids aren't getting out of school, there's no distractions in your schedule, no one has to decide who's picking them up or not. So we learned that January, February, March, April, and May is where you have to capture the most growth in your business. So we said, how do we prepare for those 5 months the most? Well, you have to build your pipeline in the 3 months prior to that. Well, it turns out that October, November, and December are filled with holidays and filled with all kinds of distractions and kids out of school, and it's global. I mean, it's a natural thing. I mean, you guys all know what they are, right? So we said we're going to work harder when everyone else is distracted so that we don't have to start building our pipeline in January. We build our pipeline now. So what does that mean? What does building your pipeline mean? Does it mean actually signing people up? I mean, that's great if you do. It's great if you do. But what it more so means is that you're having all the conversations. We had way more conversations between now and the end of the year so that we were prepared to launch our business in January because we knew we only had 5 months. If we waited till January to fill that pipeline, it would take us 60 to 90 days to have all the conversations, and then we would only get those last 2 months of growth. We found out that having the 5 months of growth was the most effective way because the energy and the success people are having and the rank advancements carry you through the rest of the year. So our behavior was this. We committed to one another that we were going to have 5 to 10 conversations every single week. 5 to 10 conversations about I work with a company that has a product that needs a voice. They pay me to show you what it is. It's really, really important. It's so scientifically advanced. I have to sit down with you. We had that conversation 5 to 10 times a week through the end of the year. And we did it every single week, whether it was a holiday or not. You can have all 5 of those in one day if you want to. You can have them in, you can have one a day if you want, or you can have them all in one day. And that's what we did. We just said, I don't care how we do it. We're just going to get 5 to 10 conversations every single week. And hopefully through that period of time, we could find a bunch of other people that understood if you join me in November or you join me in December, I can help you start building your pipeline to take advantage of those 5 months too. And that became our focus. It became our conversation with people. And we were really, really successful. Some of you may or may not know, but there's been several presidentials in this company who have hit presidential, which is the highest rank, in the month of December because of this very thing we're talking about right now. They put in so much more effort right now to offset the behaviors that society tells us we should follow. They put so much more effort in that they actually saw growth before the busy 5 months. Okay. So I would make those commitments if I were you. And it's really about conversations, get people in front of the information, and then start having a strategy conversation with them about how do we launch their business in January. And you guys will have way more success if you do. That's why this call is really, really important. It's also why I'm doing so many of them right now. I've done 3 of them today. I'm turning my phone off after this one, but I'm doing them almost every day of the week right now because of this very thing. We have to put the time in now. It will make January through May so much easier for you guys if you will. I promise you, you will be so grateful that you went through all the, well, I don't have time right now. Well, I don't have enough money for Christmas presents. I can't buy my kids presents if I do this or that. If you will go through those conversations, you will be so much happier come January. Okay.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to thank everyone for taking time out of their Saturday as well. We had a great, over the 35 people on the call. That's amazing. On a Saturday afternoon, October 21st. Tyler, have a wonderful date with Tasha. Tell her hello. And I will get this out on recording. This is definitely a go back and watch and go back and watch and go back and watch. And so thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend and keep sharing. Thanks, Tyler.